All right, my fellow Michiganders and Patriots, we got a lot of shit going on. The Florida governor has just signed SB 7072, which basically takes power away from Silicon Valley butt fuckers. Basically, in the state of Florida, if somebody is censored by big tech for anything political, for each violation, whether it be Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, they will be hit with a $100,000 penalty. SB 7072, I think it is. Yep, the Florida governor signed it. Prohibiting social media platform from willingly deplatforming the candidate after Donald Trump got deplatformed because his speech was too hateful. Providing requirements for public contracts and economic incentives related to entities that have been convicted or held civilly liable for antitrust violations. Social media platforms that fail to comply with specified requirements and prohibitions commit an prohibitions commit an unfair or deceptive act of practice, authorizing the Department of Legal Affairs to investigate suspected violations under the Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practices Act and be a action for such violations. SB 7072, social media platforms cannot now censor Floridians. Ron DeSantis, say what you want about him. This guy is the best governor in the United States of America right now. This guy is leading this country in the right direction. Under the 10th Amendment of the United States, when states can do whatever they want, when the federal government becomes over-controlling, the 10th Amendment says each state retains its sovereignty, freedom, and independence, and every power, jurisdiction, and right which is not by this Confederation Assembly delegated to the United States and Congress assembled. 10th Amendment is very clear. When the government becomes too over-controlling, when we let China and Silicon Valley decide what we're going to publish and what they're going to censor, the internet was built on ideas. It was built on and different people having different opinions about things. That's how the internet was built. That's how social media was built. People had different opinions, and you take our opinions and, it's not just bickering and bitching at one another and calling each other names on Facebook and Twitter. This was all back in when the internet first started, before we had Yahoo Chat, AOL Chat, but AOL Chat and Yahoo. You remember the Yahoo chat boards and the AOL chat boards? It wasn't just the chat rooms. People went in the chat rooms and you had people went in there with different ideas and different opinions on things. They had the AOL chat boards where a topic would come up. Maybe it was something that was happening overseas with some war or conflict, and people would go in there and I've seen all the topics about things, car manufacturers and recalls on cars and whatever. I remember one of the topics was the Firestone tire recall. And people went in there and we said things and people disagreed and people agreed. That's how the internet was built. It was built on ideas and disagreements and agreements and opinions. That's how social media was built. People have different opinions, where people from different backgrounds all over the world and different opinions can come together and put their opinions down and go at it with one another. And that's how, you know, the internet changed the world. People from all over the world meet each other, and you get the dating sites. But then big tech wanted to take over. Silicon Valley wanted to take over and basically tell us what we can watch, what we can see on the internet and not see on the internet, on social media. This is too hateful. It's an agenda. Social media is trying to change elections. They're trying to brainwash us to think a certain way. Well, that's all coming to an end. Ron DeSantis is the leader of this resistance. He is the first one to open up a state in the midst of a pandemic. He's the first one to end the mask mandates. Illegal and unconstitutional. He later apologized for shutting down his state and doing what he did. So I expect more states to follow after Florida. Florida, after the 2000 election, they had a real fucked up election in 2000. Remember that? Gore and Bush. They fucking went in there and they changed those election systems. And this past election, Donald Trump won that state. One of the first states, just that fast. They cleaned their election. Other states should follow Florida's lead. Ron DeSantis is a leader. He's not a follower. Ron DeSantis, that guy he is the man. But yeah, big tech's coming in there trying to control what we can say on the internet. If it's too harsh, you can't say that. Motherfucker, let's look at the First Amendment. For all you nerds out there, well, that's too hateful. The First Amendment, hate speech is protected by the First Amendment. It is. Racial slurs are protected by the First Amendment. Cussing and swearing is protected by the First Amendment. What's not protected by the First Amendment? Terrorist threats. I mean, obviously you can't yell fire in a crowded theater, right? And you can't threaten to kill somebody. That's not protected. That's not a limit on the First Amendment. That's straight up illegal. But the mainstream media is controlled by the deep state, and they want to try to fit an agenda on what we can see and not can see. If you post certain things, why are they censoring people talking about coronavirus and election fraud? I thought the internet was based on opinions. I thought social media was based on opinions. Some people will disagree with my opinion, which is fine. Some people don't like me because they disagree with my opinion. That's fine. You don't have to like me. But we can agree to disagree. That's how the internet works. I will never infringe on anybody's rights. I don't care what side of the political, whatever side you're on. I will not censor Americans' rights if you disagree with me. I will not try to do that. Okay? BLM Antifa is a perfect example. I hate to use them as an example, but they take to the streets and exercise their First Amendment rights. That's perfectly fine as long as they're not committing violence. I tried to. It was a week ago today, and when I went down to Dearborn, I tried to explain to some of these nerds that, well, we don't like you videotaping our protest. They don't understand. This is public property. I'm on a public sidewalk. I had the First Amendment right. What's part of the First Amendment? Freedom of the press. The Supreme Court ruled press is anybody with a camera. And then this nerd tried telling me, well, the Supreme Court overturned it. Oh, really? When I asked him to bring up a case number, he couldn't do it. Fucking asshole. Supreme Court didn't overturn it, you dumbass. They're just making excuses because they don't want me videotaping their little protest. And then he says to me, well, you're going to be a tough guy. I'm like, how am I being a tough guy? I'm on a public sidewalk. Okay, am I not? I got a camera and I'm recording. That's freedom of the press. Anybody with the phone camera, anybody with the camera is freedom of the press. There's 5 sections of the First Amendment. Okay? First Amendment, freedom of religion. Freedom of expression. Freedom to peacefully assemble. That means protest. It doesn't say burn shit down. The key word is peacefully assemble. You can go on the street. That's fine. Whose streets are streets? Please leave a lane open for traffic. Once you cross that line and you block traffic, it's no longer peaceful. Don't do what the assholes in Shelby Township did. Freedom to petition the government. When you don't agree with the government, you have the right to petition the government. I do that all the time. Going to Lansing. When the stupid Queen of Michigan thinks that she can go into a restaurant, sit 12 people at a table, not wear a muzzle mask, and the rules don't apply to her, but we have to. Guess what? I never wore a mask. I had this neck gaiter and bandana that I put on sometimes. Guess what? Because of that, because of the governor going inside and thinking that the rules don't apply to her, but they apply to everybody else about wearing a mask and sitting more than 6 at a table. Guess what? Because of that, I am no longer wearing a bandana or face gaiter inside anywhere anymore. I never wore a mask. All I had was a neck gaiter that goes up or a bandana. And I hardly ever done that. Like maybe 10% of the time. I've been kicked out of so many fucking places. I don't think there's any businesses that exist that can kick me out anymore. I've been cussed at. I've had shit thrown at me. I've had Karens almost attack me because I refuse to wear a muzzle in public. So, because I don't want the government telling me how to breathe. But the rules don't apply to Gretchen Bitchmer. So, but anyway, freedom to petition the government. And the other one is freedom of speech. So we got speech, religion, peacefully assemble, petition the government, and freedom of the press. Freedom of expression, that's basically freedom of speech. Freedom of the press. Big tech wants to censor. They want to control what we say on the internet. I have a problem with that. I don't care if you're politically against me. If you're politically against me and fuck Donald Trump, oh, yeah, fuck Donald Trump. I heard that song. Yeah, that's fine. That's your First Amendment right. I'm not mad. I don't care about the damn... I will say, over the last summer, I've heard that song so many times at so many fucking rallies. I went to 150 rallies last summer. Or 2020. I've heard that song so fucking much. It got to a point that didn't even bother me anymore. It's like, you know what? I'm not offended. I'm not offended. But they wore that song out last year like holy shit, you know? But I'm not going to be mad at somebody exercising their freedom of speech right. They have a right to petition the government. They have a right to exercise their freedom of speech. Fuck Donald Trump or whatever. Fuck Joe Biden. I'm not going to do anything to try to prohibit their rights to say fuck Donald Trump. That's their right. Just like I'm not going to try to... Just like some of these videos that you've seen going around where cars are trying to run over BLM protesters. Don't necessarily agree with BLM and Antifa, but as long as they're peaceful, you will never see me trying to hit somebody with my car especially BLM. I would never do shit like that because I respect people's constitutional rights. Just like I respect a week ago the Palestinians coming out exercising their rights. I didn't do anything to try to stop their protest. No, I support the Palestinians just as much as I support the Israelis. They're people. I had to tell this one girl I support people, and she says to me, "Well, it's an all lives matter thing. Go fuck yourself." Okay, all right, fine, whatever. But anyway, thank you, Governor DeSantis. Where are we at? 15. Holy fuck, 15 minutes. Thank you, Governor DeSantis, for signing this bill. I need to get a haircut. My shirt says, well, it says, if you could read it, basically, I can't remember word for word what it says, but it basically says, it says that my rights don't stop where your feelings begin. Michigan United. And that's exactly right. My rights don't stop where your feelings begin. Oh, that's too hateful. We have to censor it. Now you are a fascist. You know what a real fascist is? These Antifa guys come out and, oh, he supports Donald Trump. He's a fascist. No, you know what a fascist is? A fascist is somebody that tries to restrict somebody's rights because they don't agree with it. It's too hurtful. We have this thing called the U.S. Constitution. It is the supreme law of the land under Article 6, Section 2. A fascist tries to restrict an American's rights because they don't agree with it. I ain't ever, of all the protests and rallies I've gone to within the last year, a little over a year, on both sides, I ain't ever tried to restrict somebody's rights. Never. I ain't never tried to beat the shit out of somebody or throw something at somebody because I didn't agree with their political whatever. But the tables have turned, and not every person that was against my political whatever tried to restrict my rights. But there's a select few troublemakers out there that would block my camera with their signs, would try to assault me, gang up on me, call me names. Oh, he called me names. I had one little bitch at a BLM protest last summer throw a water bottle at me. She didn't like my Trump. I wasn't a Trump hat. I was wearing it was a hat that said "Make America Great Again." That is not a Trump hat. That is not a Trump hat. As a matter of fact, I think I only got one. I think I got two hats that say Trump on it. Then I got the "Make America Great Again" hat, which you probably see behind me in my closet there, up there. That is not a Trump hat. That is Ronald Reagan came up with that. "Make America Great Again." Ronald Reagan came up with that. But I've had shit. Here, I was in Florida last month for about a month. Went to a few flag waving events for America, and I had this one bicyclist came up to us and tried to steal our flags, and he took his elbow and went like that to me in his chest. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I was ready to fight him. Got on his little fucking bitch bicycle and took off. That's called infringing on our rights. That is a fascist. I'm not a fascist. I will never restrict somebody's rights, even if I don't agree with it. I will defend myself. And then about an hour later, somebody in a black Nissan Altima came up on the sidewalk and tried to hit me. I mean, I don't know if they tried to hit me, but they tried to get real close. Driving their car on the sidewalk where I was standing, I was waving a flag. I was waving a United States flag. I wasn't waving a Confederate flag. I wasn't waving a Trump flag. I was waving a U.S. flag, you know, with the bars and the stripes. The stars and the stripes. 50 stars, 13 stripes. That tells me somebody doesn't like this country. If you don't like this country, get out. 190 countries. You don't like this one, there's plenty to go to. Who's the fucking messaging me? Okay. Ron DeSantis. I don't know what Trump is going to do in 2024. That's a long time. People say, oh, he's going to run again. Well, I don't know. By that time, he'll be 78 years old. Joe Biden's 78 years old. Look at his condition. And there's a reason Trump is in better condition than Joe Biden. It's proven that those who are happier are in better health. I'm a happy guy. I really am. I'm a happy guy. I'm confident about the person I am. So we'll see what happens. I know 78, you know, it's 2024 is, I'll be 42 years old by that time. That's a long ways. That's 3.5 years. A lot can change in 3.5 years. So if Trump does not run in 2024, I mean, I hope he does, but if he doesn't, there's other candidates out there. Ron DeSantis is a good one. Somebody said Ben Shapiro's going to run again. I don't know. He's a good one. Candace Owens. Who knows? I will only vote for those that will protect the Constitution. That is the supreme law of the land. God-given rights. Outlined in the Constitution. Do not forget that. Right here, Amendment 1. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abriding the freedom of speech, the press, the right of the people peaceably to assemble, which is protesting, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Congress shall make no law restricting people petition the government. Congress shall make no law violating their right to peacefully protest, like they did in North Carolina, did in coronavirus, where the government of North Carolina said, hey, you cannot, the people came out in North Carolina at the Capitol to protest the lockdown, and the state of North Carolina said you're in violation. That is illegal and unconstitutional. Any police officer that took part in that violated the oath. Prohibiting the free exercise of the press. Yes, you have the legal right to go inside of a public building and videotape. That includes court. I was in court a little while ago, a few weeks ago. Well, let me see. The last time I was in court was in March. No, it was a couple months ago. It was right after not the last time I was in Florida, but the time before that. I left Florida and I came back for about a few weeks. And then Marlena, the one who, the Polish immigrant who had her restaurant illegally and unconstitutionally shut down. She was in court, and some patriots went in court, including myself. I was in the courtroom. And I'm not going to say any names, but a guy I know who is of the press, the real news, not the fake news. He was on his camera, and the guy in the court, it wasn't the court clerk, but it was an official. We got to turn the camera off. I'm like, what about freedom of the press? Well, unless you signed a a press release or whatever. I'm like, a press release? Are you fucking kidding me? Freedom of the press. Congress should make no law prohibiting the free exercise of the press. So last Tuesday, when I was on this public sidewalk in the city of Dearborn, and a couple of idiots came over and said, "You don't have the right to videotape. Go fuck yourself." Yes, I do. And I don't have to explain anything to you. It's right here in the First Amendment. Congress should make no law respecting an establishment of religion. There is no establishment of religion in this country. People say, well, this country was founded on Christianity. No, it was founded on rights from God. Okay? These are our God-given rights, no matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter if you're Christian, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Muslim, atheist, we don't believe in God, Mormon, or whatever you are. The 1952 ban on Islam was unconstitutional. You see what they're doing in China is they're rounding up Muslims and throwing them in camps. And some of you people might, shout victory for that because they're Muslim. But here's the thing. If they can do that to Muslims, they could do that to Christians. Think about that. So that's why I don't support a Muslim ban. I don't support any religious ban on this country. And there was never a Muslim ban on this country. There never was. Except if you want to go to 1952 law, which is unconstitutional. But Donald Trump never enacted a Muslim ban on this country. He enacted a citizens ban on certain countries that were harboring terrorism. 7 countries. I don't remember the exact 7. I think it was Iran, Yemen, Iraq, Syria, North Korea was one of them, I think. And a couple others. I can't remember exactly what. Libya was one of them, I think. There was Muslims of over 50 countries. He didn't enact a ban on Turkey, Europe, the UK, a lot of countries in North Africa, including Egypt. They have a lot of Muslims. No, it was countries that harbored terrorism. They were known for harboring terrorism. There was never a Muslim ban. Donald Trump never enacted a Muslim ban on this country. I want to get that clear. So I didn't make this long. Oh my God, 28 minutes. Anyway, Ron DeSantis, you are the man. I will only vote for constitutional patriots. See, our founding fathers were brilliant. They put these laws into place. Okay, bills, the Bill of Rights. They put these. They put them in. They put the Bill of Rights into place for a reason, because they knew one day that the government would be over controlling and try to censor us and try to infringe on our right to carry arms and try to. Oh, this is hate speech. That's offensive. Let's tear down statues and shit like that. ISIS tears down statues because a piece of rock, offends somebody because of a dead meth head in Minnesota. We have our problem here in Michigan. We're having a little ruckus here in the state of Michigan in a town called Allendale, where there's a Confederate statue. It's been sitting up there for years and years and years, and nobody bitched and cried. Nobody said a thing. Well, because a dead tweaker in Minnesota tried to pass a counterfeit $20 bill, now all of a sudden that statue's a fucking problem. For those who don't know, here in the state of Michigan, in a town called Allendale, which is the west side of Michigan, it's about a half an hour west of Grand Rapids. I've been there a few times for some protest last year. Basically, what's going on, there's a park. I can't remember the name of this park. But anyway, it's right off the main drag there as you're coming out of Grand Rapids Highway. Fuck, I don't even remember. I don't feel like pulling up my maps. Whatever. It's got a number on it. The main drag to Allendale. There's a park there. At the corner of whatever road and whatever road. Well, in this park, they have a war memorial with about 10 or 12 statues. Vietnam, Revolutionary War, World War II, World War One. They got a statue for the females in the military, feminists, whatever. They got the Iraqi, the Persian Gulf, war against terrorism, Civil War, and we got the Civil War statue. People have a problem with the Civil War statue. It shows a Confederate soldier and a Union soldier who looks to protect the slave. Okay, honors the Civil War, right? It's part of history. See, the tolerable left now want to erase history. They want to rewrite history. And once we do that, we change the course of this country. We can't have that happen. What we should do is learn from our history. Learn from our history. And don't repeat our mistakes that we made in the past. That's what we can do. Our history is very important. We need to learn from our mistakes. We need to learn from our history so we don't repeat them. So our history is very important. You want to erase our history? No, we can't do that. The statue stays up. It's part of American history. And I know some of you motherfuckers are offended, easy, but whatever your opinion is on this, this is a piece. This is a piece of American history. This is a piece of American history. Learn from it. Some of you motherfuckers, oh my God, he's got a Confederate flag. He's a racist. He's a white supremacist. He's a insurrectionist. He's a domestic terrorist. He's a racist. I've been called a racist and a white supremacist so many times. More times than how many words are in the fucking dictionary. You're not going to offend me. I don't get offended that easy. You have to do better than that. But anyway. Yeah, you guys are going to have to do better than that, trying to offend me. Ain't going to happen. But the tolerable left get offended easy. It hurts their feelings. So, so they want to censor you. Why do I have a Confederate flag when I'm from Michigan? Well, it's this thing called heritage. It's part of my family heritage. My ancestors came from Scotland and they settled in the South. So it's part of my family heritage. You have to understand that it was only 6.5% of the Confederate South of the people there that owned slaves at that time.